When working with boards, one of the key questions I always ask is, are you leading from a place of aspiration or are you leading from a place of fear? And if you really want to turn the dial now and see your senior leadership workforce more representative of the communities they serve, then you are going to need to have some brave conversations and you're going to need to act on them. In this clip, you will hear a little bit more about why leading from a place of aspiration can help you to attract and retain the best talent that's out there.
I think first and foremost, it's pretty obvious to us that, again, you can only run a great company with great people. So if we don't look at hiring diverse talent, we're all of a sudden choosing talent from a much smaller pool of people. And there's so many people who represent the same as Sam and I, who could sit there and they could get on with their day-to-day lives and nothing's going to change for them.
They spoke about, throw CVs out the window. We recruit for values. We recruit for potential. We recruit for that energy and commitment that we can see. And I know, knowing them, the adversity that you both have gone through and being brave enough to transition and what you've done and taking ownership, I know will very much appeal to them in what they look for in talent and development.
And I think you've got to have that sort of moment of uncomfortableness to actually then spark some action. Boardrooms, as what our colleague said, can be lonely places if you're a BME background.
I've recently met people who are very senior who've said they've never actually said even their own ethnicity out loud, and that's how challenging it can be. That people find it very difficult to be themselves in that space.
And when you're feeling, I'm not judging anyone who feels frightened. I feel frightened. When I first started challenging people, I used to, be really terrified and think, just collude, just keep your gob shut. But the colluding made me unwell. It made me something that I didn't want to be, that I didn't like. So my call to you is, please, 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 think about the person that you really are, that you deserve to be, that everyone deserves to see. Be that person.
So I remember doing a round of the NHS leadership courses where some of the feedback was at the end of it that people always wanted different, but the reality of it was that different wasn't always wanted. Yeah. And that I should consider, because at the time I used to have my hair in plaits, so I had 2 plaits, gold tooth, didn't, tattoos didn't always fit the traditional pearl earrings, pearl necklace, Royal Navy blue dress, kind of stereotype that is often associated with what a chief nurse of those times may have looked like.
In my perspective as someone, looking to build a career and at the start of that process, I feel that having a diverse organisation, a diverse team is attractive to talent. It makes you want to, potentially go and join that team or go and work with them. It says something about, we mentioned values. Yes. Are you living the values? Is it inclusive? But one thing that I'm really passionate about as well is the fact that it's not just about having diversity for the sake of it. I'm really passionate about creating the conditions for people to succeed once they get there, because that can also be, a big factor. So yeah, definitely, I think it's something that's important. I know there's been a recent resurgence in interest, but definitely I think it needs to be here for the long haul. And that's something that I try and incorporate into everything I do, into the projects I run. I always ask, what is our lens here? Yeah.
You get the real benefit, and where you can be a catalyst around that board table is if you're able, and it doesn't come from a position of absolute knowledge, but a curiosity. Talk more about that. Am I right to think that what you said was X or Y? Having the confidence to ask that second question or follow-on question, rather than to accept the first question, the first answer.
We have had some staff that have been particularly abused by patients, and in mental health services, quite often our police colleagues say, well, that person's got a mental health issue and therefore that's what's driving their behaviour. Quite often it isn't. So it's actually being brave enough to be able to say, no, this is not excusable behaviour. You know, we will tackle this. But it's also about empowering other staff to support a staff member when they hear or see something that's not right.
Let me be clear, this is not saying that we're here banging a drum, saying it's so hard for us if you are black or brown, it's, you know, it's terrible. That's not what this conversation is about. This conversation is about the reality of the environment.
So a handful of people that really listened and wanted to know, you know, that is the biggest thing, because when you first encounter somebody, you can tell straight away whether they're really interested or not, you know. But if they've got a couple of minutes to sit down and have a coffee, or, you know, and just say, right, tell me what matters, you know, and that's something that I've put 2 and 2 together recently, is we spend all our life saying, well, what's the matter with you then? You know, but if we flip that to what matters to you, and in my lifetime, I think, especially as far as my career is concerned, only a handful of people really said what matters to you.